We're here today at Tunnel Barn Farm in Warwickshire, and as you can see, it's a dull, gloomy, cold day. Leaves are falling off the trees, water temperatures dropping, clarity of the water's dropping, but one thing is the fishing is still fantastic. We're here on High Pool today, and we have had a brilliant day's fishing, and the main purpose for today was to use some of the finished article of the brand new MAP F1 pole floats. So Tunnel Barn is a venue that I fish regularly. Typically in the winter, we've actually just fished the first round of the 2025-26 Winter League. We were fortunate enough to win round one. As we said previously, the fishing was magnificent, but one thing that is paramount about here at Tunnel Barn is you must have the right gear and terminal tackle for the job. As part of MAP's latest release of UK handmade pole floats, I'm here today at Tunnel Barn Farm to use both of the F1 variants. The main difference is one being wire stem and one being carbon stem. Both have a 1.7mm bristle, ideal for dotting down, being really sensitive, but really good in low light visibility. Really strong side eye, really strong foam used in the body, and come in sizes from 0.2 to 0.5. I'm here on High Pool on a typical Tunnel Barn style peg. It's 16 metres wide. I've got 5 foot deep from around 4 metres in front of me all the way over to 14, so I've got lots of options to find the depth that I want to fish in. So, decision making today. As I've touched on previously, the Winter League last week was one with £120. There's lots of people fishing around me today, and it's fishing really well. So my starting bait, I'm going to fish pellet short. And with that, I'm going to fish a 0.4 wire stem F1 float. Why I use this type of float is because it's really stable. I can use big shot, and when I'm setting a trap and I'm fishing pellets over the top of it and I'm fishing a back shot, I can keep everything really still and stable and read my float. And when I say read my float, it's not always just about seeing your float going under and striking and hooking a fish. I like to be able to feed my pellets and read what the fish are doing in my pegs. So for instance, if I feed pellets and I lower my rig in and I get instant bites or indications, I know they're fish that are following the pellets down and they're potentially coming off the bottom. If I clump my pellets in and then I lower my rig on the top, and then after 2 or 3 minutes I get an indication or hook a fish, I know there's not many fish in my peg, and I've set that trap, and it's perfect for when fish come in and I want to catch that one fish. So what would I do in the instance when there are pellets falling through the water and I'm getting line bites, is I'd potentially look to go for shallow water, which is what happened today. We started at 5 metres, we had a really good run, feeding around 40 pellets each fish, and then it became apparent that maybe we were fishing a little bit short and the fish were wary because the water clarity is potentially not what it was a month ago. So we put 2 sections on, went out to around 9 metres, and again had a really good run of fish, catching some magnificent F1s up to around £4. This petered away a little bit, so again, it's that time of the year, water clarity's going, fish can get a little bit wary once they've been caught many times in the same line. So we went to 13 metres, and from there again, really good spell, fishing the same rig, plumbing it exactly the same, although it was about an inch shallower at 13 metres. And then from there we started to foul hook a few fish, and it was later on in the session of the day, and you could really tell that the fish wanted to be in shallower water. So it's just about going through the motions. We're catching lots of fish at 16 metres, so it's about carrying on, feeding your bait nice and neat, reading bites on your float, but also what I'm thinking about now, and probably my favourite line here at Tunnel Barn Farm, and that's chucking maggots out of your hand and catching fish short. So while we're catching fish long, every time I come in and I net a fish, put a new pellet on, I'm starting to throw maggots out of my hand for later on in the session, where the F1 carbon really comes into its own. Because you're chucking maggots out of your hand and you've got bait falling through the water column, you can pair your rig for your bait to fall just as those 3 offerings are. So you typically fish a strung out bulk or strung out shotting pattern throughout your rig. And what you do is when you feed your maggots, you'd flick your rig out in front of the maggots and your maggot would fall through the water just as your free offerings are. Rig for this today is a 0.3, and I've used a 0.3 today because it's quite calm, and I'll try and get away with a light rig as possible. It's not always the case. Sometimes you might want to use the 0.5 and use bigger shot, or even if it's a really windy day and you can't use a carbon float because you're not going to register it going through the water, equally you can use the 0.5 wire stem float. That would be perfect for just chucking in, bombing it to the bottom and fishing over your maggots. But today we've got a lovely calm day and we've used the 0.3 carbon, and we really started to prime this probably about half an hour before we went on it. And as soon as we dropped on, we flicked the rig out, chucked some maggots over the top, and we were soon playing F1s. So we had a brilliant finish catching on maggots short using the carbon pole float. We've caught lots of fish throughout the day, fishing the wire variant on pellets throughout the peg, and I must say both of these floats have really stood the test today. I'll be using these throughout the winter here at Tunnel Barn Farm, so get yourself to your local map stockist and give them a go.